Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 641.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about how to learn to invest, because recently, CNBC did a survey. It was called the Invest in You survey, and they found that 99% of people manage their own money, and only 1% use a financial advisor, which was really interesting to me because having been in the investing world for 25 years, the only people I worked with were people that had a financial advisor. And I was responsible for the money management side of things, so I was working with literally thousands of financial advisors over my career. But as time went on, the industry really changed and things moved from a more transactional and commission-based approach to a fee-based approach where financial advisors were charging a percentage of clients' assets. And this was right around the year 2000, 2001, 2, right in there. A lot of financial advisors transitioned away from commissions and into this fee-based fee structure. And what happened was they really needed to have clients that had more assets, because in order to charge a 1% or a 1.5% fee, you had to have a lot of assets for them to make a decent amount of money. For example, $1 million portfolio charged an average 1% fee is a $10,000 fee they were paying to their financial advisor each year. So financial advisors were typically looking for clients with more money, and the financial firms really did away with looking for clients that had a few $100,000 in their portfolio. So much of that focus was on how much money the client had. It wasn't on what the needs of the client were or what the client's account could become or anything else. It was simply dollars and cents. How much does the client have today? When I retired from the corporate world in 2007, one of my goals was to provide financial education no matter how much money you had. Some clients who listen to this podcast have millions of dollars, and some people who listen to this podcast have hundreds of dollars. And some might even be in debt. But it doesn't matter because it's all about the education. There's so much information nowadays with the internet. Yes, financial education is easier than ever to get. But on the other hand, how are you finding it? Is it by trial and error? Are you spending a lot of time reading blogs and books, listening to podcasts, watching television investment and financial programs? Are you spending time with friends, asking for tips or trying to make guesses or follow hunches, thinking something like, well, Apple's a good company and I have an Apple computer, maybe I should own Apple stock, without knowing anything else about what might make Apple stock perform well or not perform well in the future? There's an author and futurist named George Gilder, and he's done a lot of studies on wealth and poverty. He also has done a lot of forecasting about future technology trends. And one of the things he said really stuck with me. He said, wealth is essentially knowledge. Wealth is essentially knowledge. And I have to 100% agree with that statement. Wealth is essentially knowledge, because if you have the financial knowledge, you can apply it and turn that into more money for yourself. You can get your money working harder for you. If you don't have that knowledge, you don't know how to get your money working harder for you. And chances are your money will sit in a savings account at 1%. The difference between having your money sit in a savings account at 1% and having the financial knowledge to know how to get that 1% rate to a 10% compounding rate is the knowledge that is going to create more wealth for you. Here's what I mean. If you had $200,000 and 30 years to invest, if your money sat in a 1% interest-bearing account, like a savings account, during that time, over 30 years, that $200,000 would grow to $269,569. But if you understood how to invest, your $200,000 over 30 years could be invested in the stock market and achieve an average annual rate of return over the long term, which it has since 1929, of about 10%. That same amount of money, $200,000, for the same amount of time, 30 years, but invested at 10% instead of 1%, would not equal $269,000. It would equal $3.4 million. So you see, the money was the same, the time to compound was the same. What was different was getting the higher rates of return. And that's where wealth is essentially knowledge, because people who understand how to get that 10% average rate of return have the potential to build wealth for themselves, while someone who doesn't have that knowledge and leaves their money in the bank at 1% won't have that chance of building wealth for themselves. So besides listening to this podcast, which, by the way, thank you so much for doing so, how else are you getting your knowledge? Is it by chance or accident, or in a well thought out model? There once was an aspiring chef, and this young person would go by the Italian restaurant at night and stare in the window and try and see what the chef inside was doing in order to make great meals like the chef was inside the restaurant. But you can only learn so much from pressing your nose against the glass. At some point, you have to find someone you trust and take the plunge. With that in mind, I wanted to talk with you about what's possible for you to learn in the Be Wealthy and Smart VIP experience. It's my inner investing circle where you learn how to get your money working harder for you and enjoy lifetime access to my exclusive VIP community. What you learn are where high growth areas and bubbles are forming to create financial freedom, what trends are emerging as potential long-term opportunities for wealth building, why you don't need a lot of money or investment experience to have financial freedom and financial confidence. You can have investing made simple without complexity and without overwhelm. And you can get out of that rat race and have more time to enjoy your life, because everything I do is to maximize what you learn and minimize the amount of time that it takes you. What I do is take cutting-edge information and make it easy to understand and implement. I give you all the details about where, how, and when to invest, and specifically what to buy, including ticker symbols and an asset allocation model. Every month, we do a wealth building webinar where I give you a 1-hour summary of what's been going on in the market, a review of all of our investments and how they're doing, a little short economic forecast about the future and where the stock market's headed, and some other educational things that make you a better investor. Along with the monthly webinar, you have access to our VIP video vault with videos and checklists and cheat sheets and resources. We have a private VIP Facebook group where you can interact with other investors. You get my online wealth journal and wealth mini course, and a full 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. If for any reason you're not happy, you'll get a full refund. For podcast listeners, I wanted to make a special offer because you are the people that have been listening to the show for a long time in some cases. Some of you are newer listeners, but I wanted to make a special opportunity for you if this is something you're interested in doing. You can try it out for 30 days, see what you think. Listen to my last monthly webinar, which is always recorded. So if you can't make it live, you can join us for the recording. And if you do make it live, I allow for a Q&A time at the end of the webinar, so you can always ask questions and you'll never be stuck. As I mentioned, this is lifetime access. So once you've joined, there are no further costs, no further fees, nothing else to buy. If you're ready to increase your knowledge, because wealth is essentially knowledge, this is the place to do it. And for a limited time, you can come to the website. Just go to lindapjones.com, click on Programs, then You'll see the Products tab. Click on that. Scroll down to the Be Wealthy and Smart VIP experience. We do have a special 50% savings right now. All you need to do is use the promo code SAVE50 in capital letters, SAVE, then 50, SAVE50. Put that in the promo code box. Click Apply. You have full lifetime access. And I set it up that way intentionally because investing is about the long term, and I want to be there with you for the long term. So there's only one cost to join. You come in, there's no further costs. And I'll be right there alongside of you, investing and talking with you and communicating with you, answering questions all along the way for years to come. I really put this together thinking about how to make investing as easy as possible with the least amount of time required on your part, and to have everything about wealth building served to you on a silver platter. Come on over and check it out at lindapjones.com. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.